Logan's phone starts buzzing on the coffee table like crazy. I'm sprawled on his fancy couch, watching it vibrate while he's in the shower. You could smell the steam sneaking under the bathroom door, that expensive smelling stuff he uses. Used to make my heart melt, now it just makes me sick. This diamond on my finger, 3 carats, princess cut, catches the sun and throws rainbows all over the ceiling. Logan saved up for months to buy it, he was so proud. And Taryn, my own sister, thought it was absolutely perfect, with this weird look in her eyes. The phone buzzes again and my fingers are practically itching. I've never snooped before, never felt the need. But lately, all those canceled trips, the fake work emergencies, the way he hides his phone when he's texting, the shower stops. I've got maybe 2 minutes, tops. My hand shakes as I grab his phone. My birthday, his passcode, it unlocks in a second. Then I see the message preview and my blood turns to ice. Miss you already, baby, still taste you on my lips. More messages pop up, pictures, words that just burn. And there it is, my sister's name, all over some seriously messed up promises about their next hookup. I'm gasping for air, my head spinning. But my fingers just keep moving. I'm taking screenshots, sending them to myself. I need proof. I have to have proof, or I'm gonna wake up tomorrow thinking I dreamt this whole thing. The bathroom door opens. I glanced up and there was Logan just standing there in the doorway. Towels were hanging real low on his hips and water was still dripping from his dark hair. He looked at my phone. His eyes found the screen and I knew he saw it. Claire, he breathed out, just my name, nothing else. I sank onto the couch and the cushions gave way. Getting up, my engagement ring caught the light one last time and I just slipped it off. I put it down gently on the side table. The little sound it made, metal on wood, was the only thing I heard for a second. I remembered 6 months back, when I'd brought him home to meet my folks. My mom and dad, they kept giving each other those worried looks they thought I wouldn't notice. But Taryn, oh my god, Taryn was all over him, touching his arm when he talked, laughing at every little joke. She'd let her hand stay on his arm, passing him food at dinner. Only little Grace, she was so excited, showing Logan her science project like it was no big deal. I was such an idiot. Claire, wait, Logan started, trying to reach for me. I can explain. I just walked past him, not saying a word. My heels clicked on his hardwood floors. Those floors were Taryn. I couldn't think about it. The pieces all fit together now. Taryn showing up at our favorite restaurant, running into us at the movies. How she'd always stuck around after family dinners, wanting to help clean up while I took Grace to her friend's house. I remembered my own dumb joke. Watch out, Logan. Taryn might steal you away. His awkward laugh and the way he and Taryn looked at each other. I just brushed it all off. The elevator doors opened with this cheerful little ding, and it felt like the whole world was laughing at me. Hey, Logan's voice echoed down the hall, yelling for me. I could hear him stomping, but the doors slammed shut before he could get to me. I slid down the mirrored wall and my legs were jelly. Driving home, my phone wouldn't stop blowing up. Calls and texts from Logan, one after another, and I just kept ignoring them. My heart felt like it was being squeezed. Dark spots started to cloud my vision. I had to pull over, gasping for breath like I was underwater. Once the world stopped spinning, I saw I was parked in front of my parents' place. You know, the usual white house with the perfect lawn and that porch. The house where my sister still lives, where she was probably laughing about pulling one over on me. I gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles were white. The clock on the dash blinked. 4:47, Mom would be starting dinner soon. Dad would be in his study. Taryn would probably be upstairs, texting my ex, plotting their next move. With that thought, I pulled into the driveway. The front door swung open. Taryn was there, grabbing the mail, wearing that red sweater she borrowed from me last month. She hadn't seen my car yet. My hand was on the door handle. Should I just go in, waving screenshots? Or should I wait? Maybe plan it out, make sure this blew up in the biggest way possible. Everything depended on what I did next. The quiet sound of the news was coming from inside the living room as I walked through the door. Dad was in his usual chair, that big leather recliner, while Mom was on the flowery couch. Taryn was on the floor between them, messing with her phone. It looked so perfect, so typical. My stomach did a flip. Claire, Mom glanced up, her smile vanishing when she saw my face. Sweetheart, what's wrong? The remote control was on the coffee table. I hit 3 buttons and the TV screen went to mirroring. My hands were shaking when I found the screenshots and tapped share. The messages spread across the giant screen, crystal clear. Every word burned into our picture-perfect family like fire. Miss you already, baby. Still tastin' on my lips. Next time I want you to, Mom gasped, covering her mouth. Dad's newspaper just crumpled in his hand. And Taryn. She just sat there, one eyebrow up, with that smirk I used to think was just her being a sister. The smack of Mom's hand against Taryn's cheek broke the silence. How could you? Mom's voice cracked. Your own sister. Dad exploded from his chair, his face turning red, right here in the house. You brought that snake into our home. A tiny whimper made me look over. Grace was huddled behind the couch, holding her science fair ribbon. Her eyes were huge, bouncing between all of us, trying to figure out why everything was falling apart. Yeah, I did it, Taryn said, touching her red cheek, still smirking. So what? Dad's yell echoed through the room. You betrayed your sister. You, please, Taryn just rolls her eyes. She always gets everything, doesn't she? The good grades, the awesome job, even the perfect boyfriend. For once, I really wished I had something good happen to me. I almost choked on a bitter laugh thinking about it. Trying to run away from all this mess. He was my fiancé, you know, not anymore though. She pointedly stares at my empty ring finger. The next 2 days were a complete blur, slammed doors, tons of crying on the phone. Mom trying to talk some sense into me, Dad threatening to call Logan's boss. Grace kept slipping notes under my door saying she still loved me. Then came that family dinner. Mom made us all go, something about healing and moving on. I just pushed my peas around my plate while Tan picked at her chicken. Suddenly, Taryn announces, all sugary sweet and fake, I'm pregnant. With Logan's baby. My fork clattered against the plates. Mom's face fell apart. Dad's hand shook so much he almost dropped his water glass. You're sure? Mom whispered, barely audible. Taryn nodded, her hand going to her still flat stomach. 8 weeks. Logan and I were gonna make it work. I looked up at the old family photo above the fireplace, us all in matching white shirts and jeans, Taryn's arms around me. My teenage smile stared back, completely clueless that the sister hugging me so tight would one day crush my soul. Claire, Mom began, her voice all tight and practiced. I know this is tough, but what? The words caught in my throat. But she's family, that's what. She's pregnant though, we can't just leave her high and dry. Dad avoids my gaze. She needs help, doctors. I saw that doctor's number on your notepad earlier. My chair scrapes the floor as I get up. You already set up appointments, didn't you? Mom doesn't say a word, but I know the answer. Later that night, I'm in my old room packing. Pictures, clothes, the books I never took when I moved in with Logan. The life I had here feels like some messed up exhibit of lies. There's a light knock, and it's Grace, her little face all tear-stained. She puts something in my hand, a friendship bracelet, the kind we used to make at camp. Don't forget me, she whispers. I pull her close, smelling that strawberry shampoo so innocent. Never, I say. Downstairs, Mom and Dad are by the door, wearing these fake worried looks, but I can see the relief underneath. They won't have to pick sides if I'm gone. You already made your choice, I say softly. I'm just making it official. Grace watches from the upstairs window as I put my bags in the car. The porch light shines on her, her little hand pressed to the glass. I make myself drive off, refusing to look back, but the rearview mirror catches one last glimpse. Me driving away. My little sister just a shadow in that window, watching love turn to dust. People always say family's the most important thing, but they forget how family can really screw you over. It's like poison seeping into everything. Driving along, all those streetlights blurring by, I keep wondering if I can ever get far enough away from all that family drama. 3 months have gone by. Now, sunlight streams in, making stripes on my hardwood floor. 600 square feet of pure peace and quiet. The real estate agent called it cozy. I call it my safe space. San Diego wasn't my first pick, not after all the memories of family vacations in Santa Barbara. But something about the ocean just pulled me here. Running off to the mountains or the desert felt like I was hiding, you know. My laptop pings its Grace calling. Her face pops up on the screen and she's holding up her math test. A 98%. She's bouncing around, hair all messed up from sleep. Ms. Patterson said my proof was elegant, she says. That's amazing, sweetie, I tell her, even though a part of me still hurts missing her so much. Tell me about it. She dives into all the angles and lines, so excited. It takes me right back to when she used to explain her science projects to Logan with that same fire. It doesn't sting as much now, not after 3 months away. Claire, Grace's voice changes. Mom asked about you again. I stare at my work, trying to concentrate. Focus on your geometry, okay? You're gonna be the next Katherine Johnson, remember? I hung up the phone, threw on my running shoes, and headed to the beach. The fog was thick that morning, all misty and white, hanging over the ocean. It's my new thing, running 5 miles along the shore before work. The sound of the waves and my own feet pounding the sand its way better than any shrink's couch for clearing my head. This yellow lab comes bounding up, drops a tennis ball at my feet. His owner, right behind him, gives me this sheepish wave. Sorry, she says, Cooper's still learning some manners. I threw the ball and watched Cooper go nuts chasing it. I found myself grinning my first real smile in ages. It felt strange, like my face muscles had forgotten what to do. The next day at work, I buried myself in the Johnson account rebranding. My team, they didn't pry into the ring-shaped tan line on my finger or why I'd moved from Santa Barbara. They just kept me caffeinated during those late nights and invited me out for drinks on Thursdays. That presentation was amazing, Sarah said, plopping down next to me. That generational marketing pitch. Jackson practically nodded himself to sleep. He loved it. Thanks, I mumbled, closing the folder with Dad's last birthday card inside. I'd tucked it between some market research, and the client's demographics reminded me so much of him. Speaking of amazing work, Marcus popped into my office, the winter sun glinting off his shiny head. How does our newest senior marketing strategist sound? That promotion felt crazy. 3 months ago, I could barely get out of bed. Now here I am, climbing the corporate ladder. Go figure, even when your whole world feels like it's fallen apart, you can still move forward. That night, my new coworkers, they felt like family already, were all over me, wanting a celebration. We crammed into a booth at La Maria, the wine flowed, and everyone was chatting away. For the first time since everything went south, I actually laughed without feeling guilty. Then my phone vibrated. It was Grace. Her picture popped up, that goofy grin from last Christmas. I figured she was calling to say congrats after seeing my LinkedIn update. Claire, she said, her voice cracking. Dad died. She sounded so young, so lost. His heart just gave out at breakfast, she choked out. Mom said he tried calling, but your number was changed. I stared at my reflection in the restaurant window, pale, shocked. Behind me, Sarah clinked her glass, making a toast. I didn't even hear her. Everything just faded away except Grace's shaky breathing and my own pounding heart. I'll be there in 6 hours, I managed, my voice sounding strange, distant. Pack a bag if you want to come stay with me after the drive, I added. The drive north was a blur of red taillights and memories, Dad teaching me to ride my bike, how proud he was when I got good grades, him squeezing my shoulder at graduation, whispering, "You're gonna change the world, Claire Bear." Pulling up to the house, it all hit me. Black wreaths hung on the porch, my childhood home. I just sat there, gripping the steering wheel, hands white as a sheet. Taryn was in the doorway, her hand on her huge belly. Logan, no, Mike now lurked behind her like a shadow. Then Grace came running out, her long legs carrying her down the steps. She just crashed into me, all tears and heartbreak, her face hidden against my shoulder. You came, she sobbed. You always came for me. I ran my fingers through her messy hair, breathing in that scent, Mom's lavender shampoo, just like always. The next morning, I'm sitting in this cold, impersonal hospital office, talking to Dad's heart doctor. Papers are everywhere on his desk, medical stuff I really shouldn't be looking at, but small town, everybody knows everybody, and he'd known Dad for 2 decades. Your father's health went downhill fast, he says. Dr. Martinez takes off his glasses, cleaning them on his jacket. The first signs showed up about 2 months ago. He mentioned Dad asking about me coming to his appointments, but someone always said I was swamped with my new job. My throat tightened. 2 months. That's how long I'd been gone. He left this at his last appointment, Dr. Martinez says, pushing a phone across the desk. Dad's old flip phone, the one Mom always ragged on him about. The nurse found it while cleaning up his things. The last unsent text message was glowing on that tiny screen. I miss you, Claire Bear, it read. Dinner at Angelo's next week, my treat. It was saved as a draft. October 15th, 3 days before he died. I slipped the phone into my pocket, another piece of him taken from me by all those lies. It felt heavy against my ribs, a constant reminder that grief just builds and builds, like interest on a loan, loss after loss, betrayal on top of betrayal. Tomorrow, we bury him. The man who taught me everything about doing the right thing, taken down by a heart that tried to hold our family together. The whole situation just makes me sick. How do you even deal with losing someone twice? First, they're stolen from you by lies, and then death just slams the door shut. The answer, I guess, is out there, waiting for me, maybe in the funeral home parking lot, or in the words I wrote for her service, or in the choices I'll have to make. But right now, I'm stuck in the twilight of the doctor's office, my phone full of words I never sent, realizing that even the toughest guys can fall apart silently. The next day at the church, First Presbyterian's pews groaned under the weight of everyone. All around me, people were whispering, and their words, like little knives, kept cutting into the family drama. It's a tragedy. That poor girl. I'm alone, way in the back, my hands folded. Sunlight poured in through the stained glass windows, making the whole place glow with these bright colors that felt so wrong for what was happening. 3 rows ahead, Taryn leans against Logan, or Mike, whatever he goes by now. Her black dress is stretched tight over her pregnant belly. Mom's dabbing her eyes with that fancy handkerchief, the same one she used to use on me when I was a kid, back when family meant something good, not this betrayal. Grace is restless beside her, fidgeting with her collar. Our eyes meet from across the space, and she straightens up a little bit. The preacher kept going on and on about peace and family love. The images flood back when I shut my eyes. Dad showing me how to ride, those Disney pancake breakfasts, the look on his face at my college graduation. Then there were the things Taryn and Mom snatched away at the end, the sound of rustling clothes, little feet on the floor. I blinked, and there was Grace slipping into the pew. Her chin was stuck up in the air while Mom hissed at her. She grabbed my hand, her grip tight and warm. "You can't be alone," she murmured. After the funeral, we had to go through the will. The law office felt like a mausoleum. Dark wood soaked up what little light there was from the blinds. The senior partner's family portraits were watching us, generations of big-shot guys in fancy suits judging us from their frames. Mom was perched on the edge of her chair, like she was about to fly away. Taryn was lounging back, one hand on her belly. Mike's fingers were drumming against his armrest, his wedding ring glinting. It was the same ring that used to belong to Logan Marshall, now on Mike's hand, making him one of them. I picked the chair furthest from them, with Grace sitting between us like a shield. In my lap was a leather portfolio with my job resignation papers for San Diego, the lease-breaking documents, and a one-way ticket back to California. After this, I never had to see them again. Mr. Patterson was shuffling papers on his mahogany desk. The light glinted off his glasses as he painstakingly went over each page. That clock on the wall, man, time crawled. Finally, he cleared his throat. "So," he said, "shall we get started?" All that legal mumbo-jumbo blah blah blah, property this, taxes that, my dad's whole life boiled down to numbers and money. I just focused on my breathing and on how tight Grace was holding my hand. Then came the liquid assets bit. Mr. Patterson fiddled with his glasses. "To my eldest daughter, Claire Elizabeth Bennett," he read, "I leave 45% of my total estate, approximately $720,000. It didn't sink in right away. Then Taryn let out this blood-curdling scream. "That's impossible," she yelled, leaping up, papers flying everywhere. "Daddy would never," she was talking about the will leaving Grace, my youngest, 25%, then my wife, Margaret Ann Bennett, 20%. Mr. Patterson just kept going like she hadn't even spoken. Mom's face went completely white. Her knuckles were bone white, she was gripping her handkerchief so hard. And then the kicker, Taryn, my middle daughter, only got 10%. Mike, that snake, just stared at me, that calculating look in his eyes, it made my stomach churn. "This is wrong," Taryn whispered, her voice shaking. He knew I was pregnant. He knew he was gonna be a grandpa." Mr. Patterson took off his glasses, polishing them real slow and careful. "The will was updated 3 weeks before your father passed," he said. He was perfectly sound of mind and body when he made those changes. 3 weeks. 3 weeks while they were telling me he was too busy to even talk. They ignored my calls, erased my texts, just wiped me out. They stole my last chance to say goodbye. But there's more. Mr. Patterson pulls out a creamy-colored envelope from a drawer. My name scrawled across the front in Dad's writing. I knew it instantly. "Your father left this for you, Claire," he says. The paper felt warm, like I could almost feel Dad touching it. My hands shook as I opened it. "My dearest Claire Bear," it started. "By the time you read this, I'll be gone. The doctors say weeks, maybe days." He'd kept it from Mom and my sister. They thought they were protecting him, but it felt like they were locking him up, keeping me away. He wrote, "I failed you, sweetheart." He'd seen Logan and Taryn, the looks they exchanged, their secret meetups. But he told himself he was imagining it, that my sister wouldn't do that to me. By the time he had proof, it was too late. He'd failed to protect me. This letter, though, this was the one thing he could still fix. "Use this money to build the life you deserve," he wrote, "far away from all their mess. And then, please watch over Grace. She needs your strength, your honesty, the things I see in you. I love you, Claire Bear." I'm sorry I didn't say it enough, Dad. Tears blurred the ink. I folded the letter carefully, putting it next to my heart. This is ridiculous, Mike's voice broke through my sobs. You can't expect us to go along with this. The will's official, legally binding. Mr. Patterson, that guy could chill you to the bone. Anytime you went up against him, you knew you were screwed. Even now, just the sound of a chair scraping on the floorboards makes me jump. Mike's standing over me, reeking of expensive cologne and trouble. We gotta talk, he says, right now. I slowly get to my feet, standing tall in my heels, and say, no, we don't. The baby, not my problem. The words felt like a win. Grace follows me out to the parking lot, her little hand still holding mine. The sunlight's blinding after being inside all day. I fumble in my purse for my sunglasses, for my car keys, for any way out. Claire, Mike shouts across the parking lot, you need to do the right thing for the baby. I unlock the rental car, helping Grace get in. Mike's reflection gets bigger in the driver's side window. This isn't over, he growls. Yes, I say, sliding behind the wheel. It is. The first text comes before I even hit the hotel, an unknown number. Hope you sleep well tonight. Then another one. And another, each one detailing how they're going to make my life miserable. I pull into the hotel parking lot as my phone lights up with Taryn's number. Delete, no looking. The screen flashes again. Delete. The rental car's tire starts to hiss as I get out. Then another one. And another, all 4 tires deflating, slashed to ribbons. I just stare at the car at this planned attack. The sun's going down behind the mountains, painting the sky on fire. They think they can scare me into giving up Dad's stuff, make me play along with their messed up idea of family, make me a victim again, but I wasn't having it. I picked up my phone, dialed 911, my hands were surprisingly steady. I was gonna show them. 2 weeks later, boom, emails started pouring in. 3 coworkers, all within an hour, sent the same thing, a website. Pictures of me totally fake, falling down drunk, dancing on tables, snorting coke off random people. My name and job were all over it. Then my phone blew up, a text from Mom. The whole town's talking about this. What have you done to your sister? I just closed the message. I opened my notebook and added another mark to my list of all the crap they'd pulled. 37. 37 times they'd tried to get to me since the will reading. Then I saw him number 38 lurking in the hotel lobby, pretending to read a newspaper, but his eyes were glued to me. Same height, same build as the guy who slashed my tires. Same haircut as the delivery guy who tried to get my new address. My phone rang. Grace, it was Claire, her voice was shaky. Mom let Taryn and Mike move into the house. Into my old room, they're tossing all my stuff in the trash. The leather portfolio felt heavy on my lap. It was packed with screenshots, police reports, security footage, everything. A trail leading right to my sister and her husband. It's okay, Gracie, I whispered. I'm hanging in there, I swear. But I swear I'm almost to that elevator. Once I get off the phone, the doors slide open. I stand up, smoothing my skirt. It's that charcoal-colored pencil one. The guy with the newspaper starts to get up, then glances over at a cop walking into the lobby. He sits back down real quick. Later that day, I drove over to the law office to figure out what to do next. I needed to protect both me and my little sister. Patricia Chen's office took up the entire 20th floor. The receptionist led me to a corner office where a lady, probably in her 60s, sat behind a giant oak desk. Her hair was silvery and in a fancy updo, but her eyes were like ice. Ms. Bennett, she said, then pointed to the chair. Show me what you've got. I opened the portfolio, put the evidence in neat piles. Texts, pictures, police reports, security footage from a hotel. My hands don't even shake anymore when I touch it. 38 incidents in 14 days, I said. All linked back to my sister, Taryn Williams, or her husband, Michael Williams. Patricia looked at every single thing, her face giving away nothing. When she got to the hotel video, the part that showed Mike messing with my tire, she took off her glasses. You've been really thorough, she said. Most people would have broken down way before collecting all of this. Me, I'm not like most people. No, she chuckled a little, you're not. The restraining order went into effect pretty fast. My mom's signature on the witness statement meant a lot in our little town. She might enable Taryn, but she wasn't going to lie in court for her. About a week after that, I walked out of the courthouse and into some sad autumn sunshine. The steps were covered in dead leaves blowing around, and you could just tell it was about to pour. Then a shadow fell over the ground in front of me. This isn't done until we get what we deserve, Mike said. His breath made a little cloud in the air. Family sticks together. Back off, pal, I said. Officer Roberts was right there, his hand on his belt. You're breaking the restraining order. Mike's smug look kinda faded. I'm just talking to my sister. Ex-sister-in-law, I said. And you're too close. Officer Roberts, I'd like to press charges. The handcuffs made that click sound, you know. It was the same night that I got a buzz at my hotel room door around midnight. When I peeked through the peephole, I saw my mom standing there in the hall, wringing her hands. Claire, please just talk to me, she begged. I opened the door, but I didn't let her in. What are you doing here? I asked. Can't you just give them something, make it stop? Her voice cracked. The baby needs a proper home, your father would have wanted. Did you ever tell them to stop hurting me? My question just hung there between us like it was frozen in the air. My mother's mouth opened, then closed. That's what I thought. I started to shut the door. Wait, she said, stopping it with her hand. I never meant to. But you did, Mom, I said. Every single time you looked the other way. Every time you told me to just keep quiet. Every time you picked Taryn's craziness over, my own self-respect. The first tears I'd seen her shed in like ages were running down her face. I messed up, didn't I? I supported the wrong kid. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. The next day, Mike's arrest was all over the local news. Apparently, the hotel security cameras caught him trying to get into my room at 3 a.m. twice, which violated the restraining order. The news guy even mentioned his old assault charge from college, which Taryn always insisted was just a mistake. Then, Taryn started a sob fest on Facebook about how I, her awful sister, ditched her during her pregnancy. The comments section just blew up with links to police reports and court papers. Screenshots of their cheating popped up too. Suddenly, everyone's opinions changed, just like the leaves changing outside my window. I didn't say a word, didn't post a thing. The proof was obvious without me saying anything. Then my phone buzzed. It was a text from my mom. I'm sorry. 2 little words. Too late, Mom. I added the text to my evidence folder anyway. Proof that sometimes, silence is more powerful than yelling and that keeping your head up is better than getting caught up in the drama. The rain finally stopped. I watched it wash the dead leaves off the courthouse steps, clearing the way forward, one drop at a time. The doorman Marcus tipped his hat as I walked through the marble lobby. Evening, Ms. Bennett, he said. His face was all smiles. It felt good to finally be back. After 6 months, Marcus knows my life now. He knows which delivery services I trust and who definitely doesn't get past the front door. My heels clicked on the floor as I walked to the elevator. The sound echoed differently here than it did in Logan's place, that last time. The mirrored walls reflected a woman I was finally starting to recognize again. The place greets me, sunshine pouring in through the big windows. There aren't any family pictures staring back at me. Nothing from the past, no bulky old furniture. Everything here is totally fresh and it has a story. Like the old record player I found at that outdoor market, or that woven blanket I picked up at that little shop in La Jolla, or that abstract painting I made during a wine and paint night with my work friends who have really become friends. My phone vibrates. It's the investment app, showing another dividend payment. Dad's inheritance is still working, quietly growing in those accounts my financial advisor set up. Taryn doesn't know that though. She still thinks I gave everything away just to get back at her. The lock clicks, and in walks Grace Burson, her weekend bag over her shoulder and her long brown hair coming loose from her braid. She's 11, all gangly limbs and a mind that just won't quit. Claire, you won't believe what happened in science class. She drops her bag and immediately starts telling me about frogs and messed up experiments and the way her teacher laughed, surprised. I watch her act it all out, remembering how she used to hide that side of herself around Mom and Taryn. Now her voice just fills the entire apartment. The oven timer goes off. Come help with dinner, I say. Jen and David are coming over and I told them I'd make your famous garlic bread. Grace grins. Man, I love it when my coworkers come over. Grace is always the sous chef, soaking it all up, their college stories, their careers, how they built their lives by choice, not because they had to. They've become like family. Our Thanksgivings are a blast full of laughs, not the usual awkwardness. We celebrate each other's wins without keeping score. I'm chopping veggies and Grace is arranging herbs on this bread, and I see my therapist's card just chilling next to the fruit bowl. Dr. Patterson's words keep popping into my head. Healing isn't a straight line. Some days you're laughing your head off, feeling good, no guilt. Other days the hurt is still raw, and that's okay. She was totally right. Laughing comes easier now. Sometimes I'm humming in the kitchen or smiling at people on my runs. Those little bursts of joy don't feel like I'm betraying Dad anymore. After dinner, Grace is sprawled on the couch doing her math homework, and I'm going over paperwork for the foundation. We started this little nonprofit with some of Dad's money offering legal help to women stuck in awful relationships. Next week, we're opening our third shelter. Crazy. His watch sits on my desk, frozen at 3:47. The last time we talked before his heart gave out. Some days I wind it up, let it tick, and pretend we're talking. Other times I just leave it, a reminder that time doesn't magically fix everything. Sometimes it just gives you the space to build something new, out of the mess. I see a letter in my drawer from Taryn. Another try. At what? Making up, or just messing with me again. It's always been my call, whether to read it or not. Just like deciding to keep Grace's college fund separate from everything else, or switching my emergency contacts to people who actually deserve that spot. A notification pops up on my phone. Pictures from Jen, all the little moments from tonight. Grace showing David how to make her amazing garlic bread, me cracking up at one of Jen's terrible jokes. The pure happiness in those photos hits me hard. When did I stop feeling like I had to watch my back? When did I start believing I was allowed to be happy like this? Later, after Grace crashes on the couch watching old movies, I'm standing at the window. The city is twinkling below, a million lights promising anything. My phone shows a missed call from Mom. No message, nothing, just her name, waiting for me to do something. Grace mumbles in her sleep, pulling the blanket closer that I tucked around her. Seeing her like that grounds me. One family connection made it through, stronger because of everything we went through. One bridge rebuilt on honesty, not just because we had to. A smile pulls at my face, and I whisper the words I keep telling myself. Some bridges are supposed to burn. The ones we rebuild, they're better than ever. The city lights start to blur as I press my hand against the cold glass. Grace's even breaths fill the silence. The future feels wide open for the first time in ages. I'm not scanning the sky for trouble. I'm just watching the stars come out, one bright spark at a time.